Hi and welcome. I'm so happy that you are here because that means that in part 3 of the Marriage Secret Masterclass, the Empowered Love Formula, you have listened to part 1, you have listened to part 2, and now you're ready for part 3. If you haven't listened to part 1 and part 2, this may or may not make any sense, so it's probably best to check out part 1 and part 2 first. And then we're getting on to secret number 2, which follows on from secret number 1 in the first 2 parts. So secret 2 is how to release and reset your heart. How to press reset on your relationship or marriage and quickly reignite the love faster than you think. Walking into work one day, after having one of the best experiences of my life over in Greece, as I explained in the other episodes, I was hooked on understanding more on what created this happy, light feeling. I felt like I was floating around in a bubble of clear, fresh spring water by opening my love energy and living in a state of peace and love. The only problem was, I didn't want to share what I experienced with my boyfriend just yet. I wanted to understand more. Okay, I said to myself, let's start downloading every audio course and meditation that I could get my hands on. From deeply relaxing sleeping meditations that started to clear my insomnia, to audio and online courses on understanding the dynamics of relationships, to taking my hypnotherapy training. It was a total overload. But it was necessary. It was my only goal to have the growing, loving relationship that I always dreamed of. I remember one night coming home and sitting in the living room with my man. I wanted to listen to the new audio programs that I downloaded. The best thing was, because they were audios, I didn't have to worry about him getting angry or upset about what I was doing, which was important to me because I wanted the freedom to do this alone at first, until I felt strong and confident enough to share it with him. After absorbing the mountain of high-impact daily meditations and lessons, I quickly started to notice the effect it was having on my life. It kind of felt like I was on a 300-mile-per-hour supercar that was moving at top speed. The more I would listen, the better I felt. My colleagues at work with me say to me, "Nicola, you're literally glowing. What have you been doing? What's your secret? You look amazing, stunning." That's what they would be saying to me. And they would joke, and I would joke. And I have to be honest, at the time when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognise myself. I'd not looked that good in a long time. It was a stark change from the cold, grey looking hungover, or when I'd been eating cakes and overeating, where my skin looked dull and dry. It was almost as like I'd been stolen by a bandit of aliens and taken to a new galaxy. The speed at which my love energy had awakened was totally awe-inspiring. Having the freedom of audios to listen to when I was in the car, when I was cleaning, when I was walking, or even clearing emails at my desk, it made it easy to do. Easy to really awaken the love energy without me being worried about what other people thought, without taking up hours and hours of my time. It was brilliant. The speed at which things changed took me totally by surprise. I spent over 2 years waiting to get my career and finances successful and sorted, hoping that that would make a relationship change. I then spent another year testing out the new location of the Palm in Dubai because I thought that that would help me change the problem. I wasted 3 whole years, and yet in 2 months I was experiencing a completely new reality. And it was down to the focus of opening and awakening my love energy through audio instructions, meditations, and hypnotherapy sessions. Little did I know that 9 years later I would be one of the world's renowned relationship experts. The single most important factor was understanding that only a small shift in my love energy caused me to start thinking, feeling, and attracting more of what I was giving out. It helped me to create my dream life. The best thing is that I worked out the perfect system that creates hyper-fast change in your love energy without you having to ask anyone to help you change anything. The secret is clearing negativity in you, negativity in the past, negativity in the relationship, and getting and clearing resentments. So I'm going to be talking to you about getting rid of resentments and clearing negativity in a moment. So for now, you may be thinking, oh yes, Nicola, but you're an expert. You've spent so much time on this. How do you think someone like me could do something like that? Well, the cool thing is that it doesn't just work for me. It's worked for hundreds of couples that have joined my online Empowered Love program, if not more. So Avram was one example. Avram always thought that it was difficult to change his marriage. He'd hit hard times in his finances, and the financial situation in his marriage was really straining it. He found me from my podcast on iTunes, and safe to say, he was burning with pain and with stuckness, not knowing what to do. So he took that leap of faith and he joined the program, and this is what happened. And I'm going to read to you what he said. Before I started working on awakening my love energy with Nicola, I was extremely unhappy about my marriage and my life at home in general. The most difficult part was the lack of closeness in the marriage. We were also under financial stress. Everything seemed like a pressure cooker in the house, about to explode. If I continued down the path I was on, I would have left the marriage, my family, my friends and community due to the embarrassment. The thing about Nicola is that she's warm, kind, understanding, compassionate, and creates a safe environment to share your most personal and guarded challenges. The privacy to listen to the audios from your own home or car were also of great comfort for me. I like to keep things private. My biggest insight or lesson learned about the Empowered Love formula was how I can live a life by design instead of dragging myself down by the things that frustrate me. I started the program alone, and my wife joined me a few months later after she noticed the changes in my energy. It was like I turned into a confident, calm, cool and attractive husband overnight. It was great to start seeing the changes in her too. I'd recommend Nicola to anyone who's looking to take control of their life and relationship. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that no matter what your situation is, whether you've got financial pressure, whether there is loneliness, whether there's been an affair, whether there is a separation, it's possible to turn things around even if your partner doesn't want to join you at the beginning. Sometimes people will say to me, but Nicola, I don't have time to awaken my love energy. Well, I was on the edge of a breakdown between the insomnia and this excessive drinking. I definitely didn't have time. Because for me, I was too busy occupying my mind with all the things that didn't help my relationship. It was only when I dedicated time to myself for creating the successful relationship that changes started to happen. And it was the best decision I've ever made. And I have spent thousands of hours, thousands of studying, thousands and thousands of dollars on courses and trips. However, I've now put this into a formula that I am sharing some parts through my podcast show, and if you're really interested, then of course you can join the Empowered Love show, which I'll be talking about in the last part. If you are interested, you can listen to that one as well and stay to the end. When I started to feel and experience the results firsthand, it was almost like I didn't have to say anything. And that's why I help save so many relationships without talking. The couple do not have to talk even to shift things in their marriage, because love can flow where the energy goes. In fact, my life just kept unfolding beautifully. Now, you may be thinking, Nicola, how can listening to some audios change your relationship? How can listening to some meditations change your relationship? Well, I remember thinking like that too. I remember listening to the audios and I would have negative, insecure thoughts that crushed my mind and energy and made me closed. the audios help to retrain my mind. If I look at my mindset before, it was completely different to my mindset after. So that's how they make a difference. It's about our mindset. If we were acting needy, negative, if we're feeling hopeless, lonely, down, frustrated, unsure where to turn, disheartened, this is all going to affect our relationship. It's going to affect every ounce of our life. In listening to very specific meditations, I was able to get out of depression and switch my love energy onto full power. You may be wondering, how do I know what audios to listen to change my relationship and life? Right? That may be a question that you may have. And as I mentioned, I do have my program, which I'll talk about in the last one if you are interested. I really want to help you. But let me just share with you how you can select the right audios. Remember that, as I shared, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I searched high and low for the best relationship experts. And I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, with the lack of action that they had in them, the lack of solutions. It seemed like the relationship podcasts, the relationship audios, lectures and books really described well the issues, and yet there wasn't really much solutions to the problems. So it did take me a while, and I spent a lot on different courses to understand this stuff. And I remember one day sitting on a bench in my lunch hour, listening to a specific love awakening meditation that I created. And I remember really sitting there and really feeling that love inside. And I sent loving thoughts to my partner. And I really focused for like 15 minutes on sending him love through my thoughts. And sitting there, not expecting anything, my phone rang. He rang me up and he said, "Let's go away for the weekend." Now you may be thinking, wow, so what? That happens to me all the time. Well, my partner, he hated spending money on travel. In fact, he saw all travel as a waste of time. His belief is that unless your hotel room is nicer than your room at home and nicer than your luxuries at home, what's the point in going to stay in a different place? Basically, that was his mindset. He also has his own business and he doesn't like to leave it and not be present in the country to be there. So, for various reasons. So that's why I was just so shocked. And it was because my love energy was shifting, not just that day in that moment, although it could have been just from that moment, but because of the energy that I was giving him. I was being opening, I was being loving, I was allowing him to be who he really was, I was being encouraging, I was being affectionate, I was giving attention, all because of the love energy. I was being love. And so it was amazing. We hadn't been away in years, and the fact that he just was calling. I felt like a kid in the sweet shop. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where there's that scene where it's just all those chocolates and all the sweets, and the children are amazed, and everything is made out of sweets. That's what it was like. It was really incredible. And I started to notice so many shifts, so many changes. This is just one of the changes. So whether you work with me or whether you change your relationship on your own, the key thing is to finding audios and meditations and instructions and maybe hypnotherapy tracks, anything that makes you feel good, anything that makes a shift in your heart, makes a shift in your mindset, makes a shift in how you feel. How you feel is the most important thing. The energy you have towards your partner. If your energy starts to shift, that's when you start to shift away from the negativity and resentment. Because after 8 years of refining and getting world experts and studying world experts from all over the world, I created the Empowered Love Formula. And as I mentioned, I've been using it now for many years with many couples. So the key part that I focus on is to clear negativity and resentment. If you're holding on to negativity and resentment, then it's going to impact yourself and it's going to impact your partner without you saying anything. So let me just talk a little bit about negativity and resentment. Negativity in a relationship, I describe as where you have repetitive negative thoughts about the relationship. For example, a negative thought like, my partner's lazy, they don't care about me, they don't love me anymore, this relationship is doomed. If you're constantly telling yourself, they're controlling me, they no longer love me, I'm not sure if I love them, on a repetitive loop, and as humans we do tend to repeat our thoughts again and again and again and again, then it's obvious that you're not going to want to be close to them, right? If you've got a repetitive thought going on in your mind again and again, you're not going to want to connect. You're going to feel disconnected. You're going to feel like you don't want to even hug them, let alone get into bed with them. Well, that's how it was with me anyway. So you have to look at the negativity that you are thinking and doing. And then there's also neediness negativity. Are you being too needy? Are you being codependent? Are you saying that you can't live without your partner? Are you putting on a lot of neediness pressure on? Because that can affect it as well. So we want to get rid of that. And I'm sure you can see this when I tell you the example of Jack. Jack was someone who joined the Empowered Love Formula. He was on his last legs, about to walk out. His wife would constantly be messaging him day and night, whether he was in the office, at work, or out entertaining clients. It's not your typical marriage problem, but he felt totally boxed in, with no room to breathe. She needed to know where he was and what he was doing all the time. It sucked the energy right out of him. He wanted some answers, so went online and found the Empowered Love Formula. Before jumping in, he wasn't really much of a talker, and he didn't bother to talk in the relationship much because he found that his wife never really listened. So he never used to say anything to her. But Jack emailed me a week after starting the program saying that, Nicola, I've realised something. I never take time for myself to be happy and really let my love energy grow. I've never taken time to myself to be joyful, to do things that make me feel good inside. And I've decided to tell my wife about how I feel about the constant checking up on me. It was really great clearing the air. She opened up and expressed that she couldn't help it, that she was having thoughts of me cheating due to being cheated on in the past. The following week, Jack's wife signed up and found that her insecurities went when she also started shifting her energy into more loving, happier thoughts. She started to love herself more and focus less on getting love and attention from Jack. They both became more confident and carefree, and they were really enjoying life more. Jack said to me, Nicola, since the program, we're now having a baby and we're the happiest we've ever been. Jack started focusing on making time for activities he loved to bring more happiness into his life, and this vibration affected the relationship. So that's how it cleared negativity. So you want to focus on things that shift your energy, things that make you feel good inside. Clearing resentment is also a major thing that needs to be done to transform a relationship. It's part of every single program that I do, every single time I work with a couple, individual, or even someone I'm working with on an individual basis to clear depression or loneliness or an addiction. I look at clearing resentment. Clearing resentment is key because if we're holding on to resentment, we are literally carrying anger in our bodies with us, and it feels horrible. It not only feels horrible, it creates lots of fear. It creates lots of tension, and it just makes us wake up in the morning and feel tired. It's exhausting carrying resentment around. And if you're carrying resentment in your relationship, you don't even have to say anything to your partner. They're going to feel it, because we can really feel resentment. Nothing needs to be said. You can tell if someone's resenting you. It's written all over their face and in the way that they communicate with you. And so clearing resentment is essential for you to have the loving relationship that you deserve and for you to feel free. So anything that clears your resentment, anything that enables you to forget your resentment is also key. Now, I promised you another bonus. If resentment is affecting your relationship, if negativity is affecting your relationship, if you're finding it hard to forgive and let go, you're not alone. And when I work with individuals and couples in my programs or one-to-one or in the group Empowered Love Formula package, what I do is I go through 5 or 6 different ways to let go of resentment so that you can be free, feeling light, feeling happy, feeling love vibrate through you. And I'm going to be giving you now access to a small sample of that, a very, very powerful sample of that, the Forgive and Let Go hypnotherapy meditation, which you can listen to just to relax and just let go of life's stresses and worries in your relationship, to have peace, to have calmness, and to have love in your heart. Sound good? Well, I'm going to be putting the link with this podcast episode, so be sure to download and claim your free Forgive and Let Go hypnotherapy meditation. So now I've shown you how to press reset on your marriage quickly and reignite love faster and easier than you ever may have thought. Isn't that awesome? I'm so happy that you're here with me. I'm happy that you've listened to the first 3 parts, and part 4 is one of my favourite parts, and that is how to get your partner to change overnight without you having to go over past problems. I can't wait to share that with you. It's about how to avoid getting stuck in constant arguments and get a change in them. So it's really exciting. I hope you'll join me for part 4. And from my heart to yours, thank you so much for being with me.